Hey, that's a real problem.
It is.
You don't want. How are you going to get chip dust out of your toggle button or whatever?
Or like your keyboard, even.
Did you say lick?
No.
I said, or like your keyboard.
Oh, I think you said lick
You can lick your keyboard?
No,
That's probably the most sanitary thing you can do is lick a keyboard.
I would rather lick a toilet seat.
I'd lick somebody else's keyboard.
Than, yeah, disgusting.
Inspired by the adventures of our nurses, therapists, and techs, A Beer with Atlas is the only healthcare traveling, craft beer drinking podcast. Each week, we'll open a few beers, talk about the brewery and the style of beer, and then dive into some research curated specifically for each episode. In the end, we hope each one sounds like a conversation you'd have with your friends while enjoying a few cold ones.
Welcome to another episode of A Beer with Atlas. I'm Rich.
I'm Brian.
I'm Dolan.
I've got a beer from Seattle this week. Porter. I know it's not a stout.
No.
Right? Like you wanted.
They can't all be stouts.
They can't. No. But it's a porter, and I picked this one just because of the label. It's called 9-Pound Porter. And right on the label, there's a dude holding a hammer.
That's a big hammer. It's like a mini sledge.
A little sledge, and it just says, "We like beer. Suck it."
Oh,
Just like that.
What, the
also
hammer?
aggressive.
Yeah, very aggressive.
It's a theme, I guess, the last couple weeks.
Well, it's aggressive February. How's that?
We
There you
like
go.
that, yeah.
Oh, that will be how we have to...
Is this the one that's in the Georgetown area?
It is in the
Okay.
Georgetown area. Yes. Actually, Georgetown Brewing, located at 5200 Denver Ave South,
Ooh.
Seattle,
This
Washington.
pour's thick.
It does.
So Georgetown, Denver, Seattle.
Yeah, it's
Got
it's sort of like East Coast, middle of the country, West Coast, all in
But
one.
not in D.C.,
Not in D.C., no.
Okay.
as the name you would think.
Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, Sunday, 10 to 5.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad. I
10
figured
o'clock, that's
10 a.m.
great.
Yeah. I look for that in a brewery.
For
quite
those of
honestly.
us that, and especially if you're on vacation
Uh-huh.
and you can find a brewery that's open and has food,
Uh-huh.
oh my gosh, the best.
The one that's open and has breakfast?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Money.
I found that like twice in my life.
Yeah.
And one of them was in like Durango, Colorado.
Oh, nice.
And it was amazing. It was so good.
Huh. Well, it's I guess I don't know why it says "suck it" on there. Why they are
don't
so
have a straw.
aggressive.
Well, it also says, please refrigerate it. Warm beer sucks.
Ooh, that's
Which
good.
is interesting because
That
it's
is
a
good.
porter, right?
That's very roasty.
That's just a good roasty porter. There's a little bitterness on the end there too, just a
Yeah.
little bit, not much.
Here's what I wrote down: malts, chocolate, Munich, roasted barley.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that all day. Look at that in there. Now that it's sad, it's real. Ooh, that looks good. Summit and Chinook hops. I guess you'd expect Chinook from being up in that area.
Sure.
6.5%. So we're like in the IPA range.
Yeah.
Which is pretty decent for a porter. Usually you're in the 4.5 to 5.5 range. So a little stronger than what you'd normally get.
Which I think is a misconception among some novice beer drinkers, right? The darker the beer, the higher ABV, maybe.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
not
the case.
always the case.
No.
It's more about how thick with C's it is. That gives you more of an indication on the ABV usually.
Yes,
Versus the
thick.
color. Oh, well, let's see. Here's what I did. I did a little, snooping on their website, and I had to check out the merch. They got a merch
There you
store.
go.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
And I always like to write down stuff that I haven't seen before. They had some scarves there, like soccer-style scarves, or the ones that the kids wore when they played Quidditch and Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
Those long ones with,
Yeah.
the strings on the bottom. They look like MLS scarves, if you know what that is.
Very popular right
Yes. They had dog collars.
now. For dogs?
Okay. Or dog, or whatever.
Or people, whatever.
That was Valentine's Day last week, I think. But, tap handles, $15.
That's it?
Yeah,
That's cheap.
very cheap for tap handle.
I'd walk away with one of those.
Here's some of the beers I found. They're all named after people, from what I could tell, for the most part. They're like flagship beers.
Okay.
Manny's Pale Ale,
Co-founder.
Lucille
Don't know.
IPA. Mm-hmm. Here's a name that you'll know: Johnny Utah
Johnny Utah.
Pale Ale,
Actually wrote that down.
and Rogers Pilsner.
Yep.
Did you write down Bodhisattva IPA.
The Bodhisattva?
Yeah,
Yes.
that one.
Yes, both named after Point Break.
There you go.
Actually wrote that piece down.
I like. There's a song that's very close to that name by Steely Dan.
Oh.
So that's what piqued my interest.
Interesting.
And then they had a 9-pound porter shirt. Has the logo. Says "Suck It" right across the top. They make a barrel aged version of this beer, which I would be very interested in. It's called the 18-pound porter. It's 13.5%, so more than double.
So suck it twice, I guess. I don't know.
Really suck it. It's in Heaven Hills barrels. It's Westland Distillery. The brewery, you can go there. You can buy bottles from 2020. 2021, it's only on tap.
Huh.
And I think if I'm reading my notes right, it's like $14 for a bottle.
It's not bad.
No.
That's really good.
Yeah. So, and then they had a peated barrel version as well. So
I'm not
a little
generally
smokier.
Yeah, I'm not a fan if it says peat.
Yeah. I mean,
P-E-E-T, is that
yeah,
P-E-A-T?
P-E-A-T.
Yeah, no.
Usually you'll only see that with porters. I've never really seen a stout.
What does it mean?
It's like
just a different style.
Scotch.
It's like a yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
peat is like a moss thing, and like in Ireland and Scotland, they use it a lot of times to like as firewood.
Oh.
It kind of grows, and they just cut it like hay bales, and then you burn it up. But it has like a smoky flavor, and you'll only usually see it in Scotch ales or porters. You don't see it really anywhere else. I found they really like IPAs at this place.
Yeah.
They had 7 hoppy beers on tap, and then some of the other things they had a French lager. I don't know what that means.
A French lager.
But they had one. They had a ginger beer on tap. They had a coffee ale. They have the series called Sea of Life, which is a golden ale. So like a wild, like Saison. It has Brettanomycin.
Interesting.
And has wheat, like flaked wheat.
Okay.
So kind of creamy-ish. And then they had a Flanders Forever, which is a red sour style.
I love a good Flanders.
They had blackberry and cherry versions of those. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Not Ned Flanders. Just to be clear.
Stupid, sexy Flanders.
Stupid, sexy Flanders.
That beer is good.
It is.
So that's what I found about them.
So this brewery's been around for a while.
Looks like it.
They started making beer in 2002 at the old Rainier brewing site.
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting.
I have had Rainier before. Have you?
No.
I had one year. I went on a beercation,
Okay.
and we went to Yellowstone,
Oh, nice.
and it was in like April, so the roads had just opened to get into the park.
Okay.
You know, and we stayed at the lodge right there by whatever that spring is, Old Faithful.
Oh, nice.
We
There's
stayed
a
there.
lodge right there?
Yeah, it's like over 100 and something years old.
Wow.
And we stayed there, and they had like bars kind of on it's like a big square building.
Okay.
And the lobby area is open all the way up to the ceiling. So when you're on the second floor or the third floor, it's just like a balcony all the way around the rooms.
Nice.
So if you're on the floor or you're on the third floor, it's open to the whole area. So you can see the fireplace and all that stuff. But in the corners of the second and third floor, they had like beer carts set up or like little bars. And then they had chairs and stuff set up. So you could just kind of sit and lounge around the lodge and see the sights and see the people. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
But the lager that they had was Rainier. And I had a couple of them there. That's the only time I've ever seen them, and it was really good.
Interesting.
It was a lot like an Olympia, if you've ever had that.
Is it still around? Like
The
is
lodge?
It,
Yeah.
No.
The beer? I don't know if they make it anymore or not.
Interesting. It'd be interesting if the lodge is still around too. They'd be
It
able
is
to stay
definitely
there.
still around.
Huh.
It would be a great. I mean, it was awesome. It was under. They were redoing the fireplace when I was there.
Okay.
Because it was like natural slate, but it was also like 50 feet tall,
Right.
and it was 100 years old. So they were like kind of fixing it to make sure nothing happened. So I didn't get to see it, but from the pictures I've seen since then, amazing.
It's going.
And just a great place to stay if you're ever in Yellowstone. Check it out. The room was tiny, like super tiny, like half the size of this, like the table. This is the size of the hotel room.
Wow.
And I had a bed, but it was 100 years old.
Right.
And it was so cold. All the beer I had to bring it in from the car to the room.
Yeah.
So it took me 3 trips on the luggage carts, and the guy that was trying to help me, it was snowing, and the guy was like, "You got a lot of beer." I'm like, "Dude, this is the whole point of the trip. I bought all this beer, so I had to lug it in there so it wouldn't freeze in the car."
Yeah.
And then we had to leave our trip early because 3 of the 4 routes out of Yellowstone snowed shut. And we had to go up through Montana and Billings to come back because we had a blizzard.
Oh.
And we would have been stuck there if we didn't run for it.
Well,
and we did.
I mean, you had enough beer to last, so you could have.
We could have. Had we chose to.
Right.
But then I wouldn't have had none to bring back. And that was the whole point of the trip.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's my Rainier beer story.
So they, after 2008, they moved to the Georgetown space. So they were only in the space for like 6 years. Founded by Manny Chao, C-H-A-O, Chao.
Okay.
Okay. And Roger, not even going to try, B-I-A-L-O-U-S.
Bilaus.
Bilaus.
Yeah, sure.
Manny and Roger.
Manny and Roger.
There we go. So Chow was one of the original employees of Mac and Jack's Brewing Company.
Mac and Jack's.
Mac and Jack's. It's kind of that's a fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun name. Georgetown initially was started with an investment of $200,000. That's it.
That doesn't seem like that much.
Yeah, back in 2002, maybe.
Yeah, it might have been.
I don't know. I mean, that wasn't that long ago. Within the first year, the brewery had broke even with 80 restaurant and bar accounts. So
that's good.
Within the first year.
Usually it's like 5 years for a lot of places.
Yeah. Originally located in a space that once produced the Rainier beer, then relocated, like I said, to doubled up my information there.
Did you see the
to Georgetown
picture of the place?
I did. Mm-hmm.
It looks like a dive bar.
It totally does.
And that's what I wrote down. Dive bar. 2 exclamation points.
Yeah.
And it has food.
There's something very appealing about that to me.
I love a dive bar. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't necessarily usually see a dive bar brewery. You know? They usually are the opposite. Open and light or like, industrial looking.
Right.
You don't get to see one with neon lights and like no light inside and like graffiti on the wall and that sort of thing. So...
So I looked up. Do you know what 9 pound was? Did you look this up at all? Where this came from?
The name? No.
Yeah, the name.
Pound Hammer?
9 Pound Hammer. It's named after a bar in Seattle. Seattle called 9 Pound Hammer.
Oh, it was like, they made the beer for that place, right?
For this place, yeah. So here's some reviews of this place. Because as much as I'd like to go to the brewery itself, I want to go to 9 Pound Hammer.
Okay.
Here. Located at 6009 Airport Way in Seattle. Here's one of the reviews. If you like a stiff drink or a shot in a beer and playing free pool and shuffleboard, this place is for you.
Yeah.
I'll go there.
Okay.
Yep. There's music here is always good. There's lots of free pool, free peanuts, and a very comfortable atmosphere. So, looks like a dive bar, but still very comfortable.
I wrote down, because I saw some of that stuff, I wrote down they have 9 pound chili that you can get there, which is made with the beer.
Yep.
And then they had a corn dog on the menu.
Okay.
I mean, that's dive bar-y, right? Corn dog.
Why not?
They have this something I've never seen. Egg salad sandwich. So it's egg salad on a bun. You eat it like a hamburger.
Okay.
So I like egg salad.
Me too.
But I don't like purchasing an egg salad.
Exactly.
You gotta make it yourself.
Exactly.
Like you got to make it yourself,
Yeah.
or like somebody has to make it there.
It's like gas station sushi, right?
It's a
don't
gamble.
Trust
Bad
it.
idea.
Don't trust
Yeah.
it.
Just plan for a couple hours later, I guess. And then they had salt and pepper wings. Like that's all it's on them, just salt and pepper.
Perfect.
And that sounded pretty good to me.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
So I'm down with that. A dive bar that has food sounds good to me.
I almost wonder if 9 pound is like the sledge, like the mini sledge.
It
Like,
might be.
That's what it's named after
be.
or whatever. So how much is a mini sledge actually weigh? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a 9 pound.
9 pound, is that right?
9 pound. No, 9 pound.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yum.
You ready for this?
Yep.
I did some 9 pound hammer research.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And here's what I found out. 9 pound hammer is a song. Famous song.
It is?
Not famous to us probably, but back in the day it was.
Okay.
The kind of the standard version of it was released 8/8 of 46 by a guy named Merle Travis.
Hey, the inventor of Travis picking.
9-pound hammer.
There you go.
Is that
Yeah.
a thing? Travis
so
picking?
Travis picking is
Up.
no.
Oh, okay.
So you have a pick in your hand.
Yeah.
Right. So you pick the guitar like normal, but then your other 3 fingers,
Pick 2.
you're plucking the strings at the
Finger
same
picking
time.
while regular picking.
Finger picking while regular picking, and that was Merle Travis's trick to like everything he did.
There you go.
It's super hard technique to learn, and he's kind of like the founder pusher. He's the guy that made it like famous.
So
I
is
don't
it-
know if he invented it, but he was the first guy to do it.
Is it bluegrassy? I would assume then.
Yeah. Mhm.
Is it
would
banjo
assume-
or guitar or both?
Guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the style of picking, I guess you can apply to anything with
Yeah.
at least 5-6 strings. But like
Once you figure it out.
once you figure it out, right?
Man, that'd be tough
But it is
to
tough
do this with your
You-
hand
like-
and then do this with your hand. And,
because you're just
yeah.
like just
you're
the
strumming or
coordination,
picking
yeah.
and then picking. Finger picking is hard enough,
Yeah.
I think.
That's like pat your belly and rub your head.
chew
Yes,
gum.
that's
Can't do
exactly
it.
what it is.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the song. One of his like big hit songs was called 9-Pound Hammer, and it was like a standard song, I guess. So other people have recorded it before and since.
Yep.
But his version was like the version. The song is traced back to sharecroppers and railroad workers, like building the railroad in the 1800s. And then he kind of changed the lyrics and some of the instrumentation to reflect more of the area he was from, which was a lot of coal mining.
Okay.
So it came from a railroad song to a coal mining song, but it's kind of the same. Shares, I wrote down verses and or music with a song called Take This Hammer.
Okay.
And that song was first recorded by Al Hopkins and his Buckle Busters on May 13th, 1927.
It's like you got a fat belly or something? and
Maybe.
Busting the buckle?
Maybe.
Okay.
9-Pound Hammer. Also a marijuana strain.
Oh.
So-
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Indica marijuana strain. Crossed with gooseberry, Hell's OG, and Jack the Ripper. You will get sweet grape and lime flavors, and it pairs with pain and stress relief. That's what you're supposed to get from this
So you're
one.
actually getting like flavors out of strains of weed
That's
now?
what they say.
There's a whole website on it called Leafly.
That's where I found this information. Saved as a favorite.
It's like the craft beer like note version of
Really?
marijuana. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like rate beers or whatever.
Yep, there you go.
The THC level is 17 to 21%, and the flowers will be between 50 and 60 days with high yield. So it's a plant that has a lot coming, similar to the blueberries we talked about earlier, the blueberry bush from last week.
Last week, yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. I wrote it down mostly because of the name, but also kind of how it mirrors craft beer world. You know, it's got percentages based written down. It's got names and kind of funky stuff, and it's got like flavor notes and profiles. It's almost like they took the ideas and spun it into their world and use it there too. So
Interesting.
I don't know if there's an untapped for that. If there is, that'd be crazy. You know, if you're like, oh, well, I've got the 9-Pound Hammer right now. Toot, 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 toot. 5 leaves.
Is it called like unsmoked, maybe?
I don't know.
Unrolled?
Re-rolled?
I don't even know.
I don't know. We're
That's a good
spitballing here.
idea, though.
It is
So,
a good idea.
You probably forget to check in a lot. That's my guess.
Yeah.
You're like, I've been on this for 7 years and I've only got 4 check-ins. What happened?
I forget with beer.
I know.
I wouldn't even imagine.
This 9-pound hammer, just a little too heavy for my size. For my size, I'm going on the mountain, gonna see my baby, but I ain't coming back. Well, I ain't coming back.
There's something called a 9-Pound Hammer crayfish fly for fly fishing.
Okay.
And I wrote down, this is the fly fisher's version of the Ned rig. So it's a specific way you tie.
Okay.
Kind of look like, to me, it looked like what you'd use for ice fishing, like just a straight jig, but
Okay.
whatever. That's a specific tie. That's what you use. That's what it's called.
All right.
Then I found this band called 9-Pound Hammer.
Okay.
And that's going to be some interest to us. They're a cowpunk band. And I know this is a genre that maybe you don't know about.
Cow
Punk. So it's punk rock music
Okay.
with like some country tinges in the guitar playing.
Like Mumford and Sons, maybe?
More like maybe like early old 97s ish, or like if you like Green Day with a pedal steel. If that
would
makes
be
sense.
Weird.
Like that sort of thing.
Okay, that's weird.
Or lyrics that are about like more working class stuff, like people,
truck
Midwest
and your
stuff,
dog and stuff
that
like
sort
that.
of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like a mixture of those two kinds of music.
Okay.
So these guys came from Owensboro, Kentucky, and the vocalist, the singer Scott Llewellyn, and the guitarist Blaine Cartwright. I wrote down one of the first rural, that's a tough word for me, blue collar punk bands to inject those like westerny style guitar riffs. So maybe it's some Travis picking. I don't know.
I need to look this up.
Excuse me. They have a lot of the songs are about like alcoholism and like being poor and the small town shutting down, that sort of stuff.
Well, that sounds like country, right? I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Or like 80s Mellencamp, whatever.
Interesting.
The band broke up in 1997, and then the guitar player went on to front this band that maybe you've heard of called Nashville Pussy.
No.
Oh, yeah. They're a
Wow.
band that's out there too. But they're more like a southern rock, hard rock kind of band. But they tour around here quite a bit.
Interesting.
And they've been around, since the 90s. Like I remember hearing them on The Blaze in Lincoln. That was our
Okay.
hard rock channel that we had. They have the 9 Pound Hammer Band had 11 albums. They had some songs that were popular like in the early 2000s that were somehow they got connected with like Cartoon Network. So a lot of their songs
really?
were on like the shows that would have been popular then. I wrote down Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, I loved Aqua Teen.
C-Lab 2021 or whatever that was. Some show called 12 Ounce Mouse, which I don't know, but it was on for
remember that
2
one.
years.
Squidbillies, maybe?
Maybe, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. But that's kind of where they were popular, was from that thing. But the other band that's still around now that sprung out of this one is one that still tours and kind of like a newer version of a Leonard Skinner type tunes.
Did you ever watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Yeah,
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
those shows were
It's
all
on
great.
HBO Max, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so I lied. Travis picking is similar to what I said, but they have the thumb pick.
So that makes me think banjo.
Yeah,
The thumb
but it's guitar.
pick is a pick that
So-
goes on your thumb.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like you slide it over your thumb like a ring.
It just looks
and
like a big long
stops
fingernail kind of.
This first knuckle, and then the pick like hangs off the side at like almost a 90-degree angle,
Oh,
'Cause you're going
oh,
like
I understand.
that.
and then you're going
Yeah.
like this,
Yep.
and then but it is still what I said. It's the finger picking with the pick.
Yeah.
Speaking
Yeah.
of which, have you seen the gamer's chopsticks? Have you seen these things?
Mm-hmm.
They slide over your fingers, and they're only maybe about a couple inches long, but
Yep.
they look like chopsticks. And so as you're gaming, you can pick up chips.
Like Cheetos, so you don't
and
get your fingers
so
all
you don't
dirty.
get your fingers all dirty, and you don't get it on your controller. But it slides over your pointer and your naughty finger to eat
To
chips
quote-
or whatever.
80s comedian, superstar, sensationalist Yakov Smirnoff. What a country that we can have chip
Right?
finger attachments so you don't get your video game
You don't
controller
want to get your controller all Cheetoed
Like
up.
cheesy poofs.
Man.
Right? That's a
What a
real
world.
thing.
Oh,
Think
yeah.
of everything.
Hey, that's a real problem.
It is.
You don't want. How are you going to get chip dust out of your toggle button or
Or
whatever?
like your keyboard,
Yeah.
even.
Did
Come
you say
on.
lick?
No.
I said, or like your
Oh, I
keyboard.
think you said
You
lick
can
your
lick your keyboard?
No,
It's probably the
gross.
most sanitary thing you can do is lick a keyboard.
I would rather lick a toilet seat.
I'd lick
quite
somebody else's
honestly,
keyboard.
Than, yeah, disgusting. All right, so TripAdvisor. I looked up this brewery. I really should have looked up the 9 Pound bar, the 9 Pound or 9 Pound
the place-
Hammer bar.
Restaurant bar?
Yeah, but I looked up this place. So 5 out of 5 on 45 reviews. So every one of their reviews has been 5 out of 5. Here's the title. If you are a beer lover, and even if you are not, this is a fun and friendly place. So I think it kind of relates to anyone who may be listening to the podcast. If you're a traveling healthcare professional, if you're just an average Joe, whatever, you want to go to a fun place, this would be the place for you. Yes, beer is the emphasis. I am not particularly a beer lover. This person, not me, obviously.
Okay.
But this is a great way to have a couple of sips of various beers to possibly find one that you like. We did it with a group of friends, which made it a fun social outing as well. So
I agree.
sounds perfect.
I went to our local spot this weekend to stock up
Okay.
my fridge because I hadn't been shopping in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had holidays, and I had 2 kids' birthday parties at my house.
Yep.
So I've had family in, and the beer goes quick.
They ravaged your beer selection.
So it was bare bones in there. Mm-hmm. So I went and stocked up. And I went on Saturday. It was at like 12:30, 1 o'clock before everything got busy at my house.
Yep.
And I just thought, man, I miss this.
Yeah.
I miss going to a place with my wife, no kids, no coronavirus,
Yep.
sitting at a brewery, tasting beers, just talking, shooting the shit, eating some pretzels, overpriced, whatever, who cares?
Doesn't matter.
This is just what you did.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do. And that was like the first time in a long time it hit me. I was just like, oh, I miss this. 5 people in the brewery, no line, sit wherever you want. It was a beautiful day outside. It's just like, oh, I miss this.
Man.
And then I bought my to-go beers and ran out of there
And
with
then
my
got out.
N95 mask on.
Wow.
That's just me.
One of these days, hopefully this year, hopefully we can get back to that.
And you never know.
I hope.
You never know.
So, Untapped. I still haven't signed up for the premium Untapped yet, so I only see 10,000 check-ins. So I don't know if it's 10,001 or 10,999.
Yeah.
It's still 10,000. Where do you think we land on this one?
I think this is going to be a 3.86.
I'm going to go 378.
380.
Oh, you were close.
Oh, it's
Right
really
in
close.
there. Right in there. So I like it. As porters go, I don't know if I'm generally a porter fan. They don't necessarily do anything for me. But this was good. This was roasty, malty.
If we had this available, I would definitely buy some. Mm-hmm. And I don't buy porters usually, but the roastiness of it was nice. It was a little thicker than normal, not so thin. 6.5 is, feasible.
Yeah.
It was good. It's what you want a porter to be.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. So, all right, next week, right as of recording time, the Northeast is buried in snow.
Yes, it is.
But when I was there, it was beautiful, and I brought back a stout for us to do.
Okay.
So we have a stout for next week from Trillium,
Hey.
which I don't think we've ever done a Trillium beer by itself
I don't think so.
necessarily. So
I don't know if we've done one at all. Have we?
maybe
I don't know. We'd have to look through the archives.
Maybe
Yeah.
it could be our first one. So anyway, coffee cake stout, no less. So
Okay.
we're gonna see. I figured Brian would be amicable to that.
I'll drink it if I have to.
Yes. So, all right, fellas, suck it. We ain't going anywhere for a while.
Let's have another beer.
Thank you for listening to A Beer with Atlas. Special thanks to our brand team for producing the show. Each episode of A Beer with Atlas is powered by Atlas MedStaff, an industry leader in travel healthcare staffing.